Hello, 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 and happy Thursday, community. Welcome to today's community event. As always, we are very thrilled to have you here with us in these community events. Glad to have you all in a big number, a huge crowd today already. As we are approaching we are in our third week now this year, and we're only days away from the long-awaited inauguration, something that goes into the history. Why is it so important? We finally have a pro-crypto administration. We've never experienced that before. And like the title gave it away, crypto regulations, right? We often mention this, we often talk about this. And as always, we don't like to just be on a surface level. We often want to go deeper than that. Let's go beyond just, okay, we know that crypto regulations are coming. We know we have a pro-crypto president and administration, but what does all this mean? Let's break it down in a way that we can really embrace it and understand it fully. So this is what we're going to go through today. There'll be quite a bit to discuss, but it will give us a great overview of what's coming, what's feasible, what we can expect coming within the next week. And yes, that's today's session. This is what we're going to cover. With that said, as always, our daily ritual is tweeting, as it gives us the opportunity to reach as many people as possible to embrace them. As we are crypto enthusiasts, we care about this industry, and this is why we do these weekly events, these sessions. We want to educate and inform the community and those who are not part of it yet about this industry on a broad scale. On a much broader scale than just swapping tokens, but we want to discuss and we also inform and educate on how our financial system works, how monetary system works, how macroeconomic factors affect us in terms of inflation and how that affects the liquidity rates, and that in turn also affects the boom and bust cycles like the bull and bear markets. And also on an industry level, how the challenges we face in our industry, the opportunities that arise out of these challenges, and how we are using those challenges, turning them into opportunities, and using our platform for solution to address these challenges. This is what this is always about. And this is why we do these community events. So those who have not yet, ensure that we engage with the tweets. Very, very important. It's free. There are no Ethereum transactions required. It's easy. It just takes a few seconds. And it goes a long way. As like we said, it brings a lot of awareness to us as an industry. So as you see here on your screen, Bullrun is our ecosystem. That's the name of our ecosystem. Every time people YouTube or Google Bullrun, we should be trending on Twitter. Naturally, people are looking for our ecosystem. So the more we are engaged, the more we have interactions, the more visible we are, right? So strategically, it's great. We have the brand, we have the name. And so let's make a lot of noise and bring awareness to our industry and also to our ecosystem as well. So those who have not yet, I encourage us to engage as well. Also, I want to welcome all the new members that are new in the community. We are happy to have you here with us today. And for the veterans, the regularly attending community members, we are also happy, of course, to always see you in the community and read your comments. As always, we will read the comments at the end, as there's quite a lot of the comments. So we'll go through them, every one of them. So if you have any feedbacks, questions, you need more clarity, we're using that time at the end to go through every single comment of you. So I want to thank you in advance for all your comments and your feedbacks. With that said, community, let's get right to today's topic, as there's quite a bit to cover. Once more, crypto regulations. That's all good. We all know crypto regulations is coming. We all know we have a pro-crypto president, but that's the surface, right? So let's dig deeper today. Let's understand what impact does that have to us as an industry and as an ecosystem. What impact does it have? So with that said, let's get right into today's session. And as always, let's always start with the markets. The markets are up and down. between Bitcoin has been between 100 and then dropping back down to 97. Ethereum also has been just sideways, up and down. That's just the volatility, the last uh, jittery that we're still experiencing until the more clarity is coming next week, starting Monday. This is just the market reacting. Keep in mind, we are back to greed, 60%. All in all, we are anticipating what's coming next week. And this is what this session is all about. There's really not much else to say about the market today. So with that said, let's now get to this article just briefly. As always, we like to set the stage so that we can follow along. We have a mental mind map that we can follow along. Out of this article, there's two things we want to take away, and then we'll lay these two statements as a foundation to walk us throughout the entire session. So like we said at the beginning, Trump's new SEC leadership is getting ready to kickstart next week, right? And they're literally going to revamp, right, the whole what we've been experiencing with Gensler for the past years, right? Who's been dragging his feet, literally suing everybody left and right in terms of crypto companies, and also dragging their feet in terms of choke point 2.0, meaning that literally encouraging banks not to interact with crypto companies and so on and so forth. But we'll get into more details as we progress throughout this session. What we need to understand here is that, for one, there'll be a kickoff taking off. Taking a lot of changes are getting ready to be happening starting next week, when President-elect and his administration team are taking office and can officially start making moves. And also what I want us to understand is that there have been some enforcement actions from the SEC, and that these are also being looked at to be frozen, hopefully, and taken out so that these lawsuits will be dropped. And we'll also analyze the impacts that all of these are going to have on our industry. So, and of course, potential new regulations are also about to come in in cooperation and collaboration with the market experts that we're also about to discuss, that President-elect has appointed in their respective offices, right? So for right now, all we need to understand is that the Security and Exchange Commission is going to literally, like we said, be a whole new set of person. In Atkins is going to replace Gensler, and it's going to really hopefully be a good thing for the cryptocurrency industry as a whole, as the policies are potentially going to be more pro regulation, more pro crypto, and this will bring and drive more institutions back to the US, and more developers can start building freely without any fears of prosecution and all of that. And this is what everybody's looking forward to, right? Hopefully starting next week, based on the promises made during the campaign. These are the most notable actions that we look forward to, right? Freeze the enforcements by the SEC, overhaul everything, change stuff that have been negative or anti-crypto, and potentially even bring on new regulations that are pro-crypto as well. So these are very important matters that we want to look at. Another thing that I want to highlight here is, like we said, Paul Atkins. He's the potential new and pro-crypto friendly SEC chair that is going to take his office next week, and he's expected to end the crypto crackdown, like we said, that was led by the Biden's administration and by the SEC chair Gensler. He's stepping down January 20th, of course, when Trump is being sworn in, as we know as well. So these are things that are very important for us to really understand and get a grip of. We'll hear more about Atkins and see his position in a bit. What I want us to look at here is this. Another thing that I want us to to look at this, right? The SEC claimed that they are worried about the fraud and manipulation in the markets, which is good. Let's face it, every new industry has bad actors. This is not limited to the crypto industry. It was like that during the dot-com bubble. It was like that during 2008 financial crisis. Major regulated banks and financial institutions went belly up, were caught doing illegal things and all of that. So it's not just crypto. Everywhere in any industry there are bad actors. Anyway, so they were using that to say that that's why they brought at least 83 enforcement actions, right, related to crypto industry, crypto companies, right? They were literally suing multiple prominent companies like Coinbase and Kraken and Consensus and Ethereum and so on and so forth, right? So we heard about all of these and we're going to go into more details. So this is just to set the stage for today's session. This is going to literally carry us throughout this session, right? Regulation, crypto regulation. How is this going to affect us starting next week? What impact is it going to have on us as an industry first, and then as an ecosystem? So let's dig deeper into this. Keep these two in mind, Coinbase and Kraken. Keep these two in mind. So another article that I'd like us to look at is Consensus, because Consensus was one of these companies, crypto companies, that were actually sued by the SEC. And why is Consensus so important? We'll really understand why. So anyway, crypto company Consensus was sued by the SEC as regulator continued to industry-wide crackdown. So this is what we had to deal with, right, for a very long time. And Consensus plays a major role because it's part of the Ethereum Foundation, right? And we'll see why it's so important. So the SEC on Friday, like we say, this was last year, June, sued the blockchain software company Consensus. The regulator, why? Because they allege that they're engaging in the offer of sale of securities, and that MetaMask literally is an unregistered broker through its digital asset wallet. Now, keep in mind, this has been going back and forth, and MetaMask is literally the oldest decentralized wallet. And if this was to go through, and if they had their way, it would affect nearly all of us, right? Because this is the most adopted and most used DeFi wallet. And SEC suing Consensus. Consensus is the company that literally one of their products is MetaMask, right? So anyway, crypto farms focused on Ethereum and decentralized finance have been heavily targeted by the SEC. This is last year, right? So every crypto farm on Ethereum or decentralized finance have been heavily targeted by the SEC. So this is the first thing that is telling us why Ethereum has not been performing so well, why Ethereum is literally the only top 5 cryptocurrencies that literally have not taken off yet. They've not moved like everybody else. Look at Bitcoin. They've surpassed all-time high. Look at even XRP. I mean, they've been dominating, right? Look at Solana, all-time high. Binance, all-time high. So all of these top 5 layer 1 blockchains, they've all hit the all-time high and beyond. But Ethereum has not. And this is the reason why. Keep in mind the topic, crypto regulations. And any crypto farm that was focused on Ethereum and DeFi, they've been always heavily targeted by the SEC. This caused many institutions to move from the US, leave, go somewhere else where there's more crypto-friendly regulations. And this caused and scared a lot of developers on Ethereum to just stop developing because they were just afraid of prosecution. And this is why we saw that right now there's literally nothing going on right now on Ethereum because of that. So who's going to benefit the most from these regulations just out of the gate? It's definitely going to be Ethereum, because they have been the ones getting the most heat from the SEC, right? Crypto farms focusing on Ethereum itself, and DeFi, right, has been experiencing has been heavily targeted by the SEC. So let's understand that. That's something that we need to understand and keep in mind as we progress throughout today's session. So to make things even clearer, what impact consensus actually have, what influence it has, let's quickly look at consensus website, just to understand what products, ecosystems, and what type of a company this actually is. It's a huge company, and it has a complete suite of products, literally, like that. Let me show you here. First of all, look at, we have 100 million MetaMask users, 100 million, and over 70,000 applications. These are dApps, so DeFi centered applications are using MetaMasks. 100 million is this is large. This is this is a lot of people. And not only is MetaMask, of course, is one of its most famous because we are directly using it, we as consumers at the front, right? However, Consensus is also developing products behind the scenes that developers are also using. Infura is one of the products that we are also using as developers. We're using Infura on a monthly basis as well. And it's one of the platforms that we're actually using. And you need to use this because of our staking platform. So we are using Infura as well, right? And Infura has requested served over 2 trillion. So you can't run a staking platform without them. So they are also one of them that we're using. There are other products such as Linnea and so on and so forth. So you see here, we are right here on the left. Everyone is using the very well-known MetaMask, right? This is what everybody's using. This is the Web3 wallet. Most of us are using, according to their numbers, 100 million individuals are using it. And then these products are for developers. Like I told you, one of our products that we're using is Infura. We are using these are smart contracts development tools, right? And this is one that we're using, one of the products that we're using as well. And also for ecosystems, they also have other products here that you can use, from staking to oracles to whatever you need. It's right here, right? So Consensus, literally, without them, or if they're attacked and sued, it has a major impact on the entire Ethereum, from the users like us, from developers and ecosystems. So blockchain develop, it would affect so many people, and it will literally put a pause, a halt on development, accessibility, growth, infrastructure on Ethereum, right? So when this lawsuit took place, it was a big deal because Consensus plays a major role for us to access the blockchain, connect to applications, build applications. So this is just to show you the impact of these lawsuits and tyranny by the SEC, and just bringing so much heat and fear to any developer that is interacting directly with Ethereum or DeFi products, right? So this is why the largest beneficiary, of course, of all of these regulations and clarity is hands down going to be Ethereum, because they've been experiencing the biggest heat, right? So now that we've put that out of the way, let's now focus back to who is the team behind President-elect Trump. Who's really the team behind it? What type of individuals are those, right? Just briefly, let's go through the so-called dream team of Trump that is pro-crypto. And these are not just some random individuals that are career politicians that never fundraise, never know how to run a business, never, don't know how the real world works. These are individuals that know how to fundraise, know how to launch a business, know how to run successful billion-dollar businesses, and have either their own venture capital firms or have advisory consulting firms. So these are well-established business individuals. So let's just briefly go through them. Starting with his vice president here on the left, we know that he is not only pro-crypto, but apparently he holds some Bitcoin himself as well. And he has also previously voted to overturn measures that prevent certain banks from holding crypto assets. Remember how the choke point 2.0 are banks preventing crypto companies from having a bank so that can on and off ramp. So he was one of those that was advocating to stop all of that, right? And here on the right, of course, the most famous billionaire in the world, Elon Musk himself. He's co-leading the Department of Government Efficiency with this individual right here that we'll get back to him as well. So we know that he is already into the meme world, and he's also going to advise President-elect Trump on crypto policies he was even advising him already during the election campaign, right? And then we have his sons, two of his sons here. They are also heavily invested, and they're actually advisors in the World Liberty Financial DeFi platform, right? Both of his sons are advisors on that. And keep in mind, DeFi was being attacked, like we just read in the article before. Consensus was actually sued, received a Wells notice. So we see that anything that had to do with DeFi, Consensus, Ethereum was being scrutinized. So not only him, but and the people around him, but his two sons are also advisors of his World Liberty Financial DeFi platform that is also on Ethereum, right? So he's heavily invested in it too. He's also listed as one of the advisors himself. So Vivek, he'll be co-leading along with Elon Musk, the Government Efficiency Department. He's also another billionaire business individual that knows how to run business, knows how to get things done. Is not just a random career politician that never ran a business, right? But these are individuals that are very successful in the real world, well connected with Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and they have successful businesses themselves. And as we know, one of them here, and this was also RFK, he was also running for president, and he's given also a position as a Secretary of Health. Has really not much to do with crypto directly. However, we know that RFK is also very, very pro crypto. We know that for sure. So he's really surrounding himself with the President-elect Trump, with individuals that are very crypto enthusiasts. On the left here, we see David Sachs himself. Like we said, he's a serial entrepreneur whose venture capital firm, he has a venture capital firm. He's heavily invested in multiple crypto startups. Like we said, these are not career politicians. These are individuals that are in the real world doing business, investing in the real business, right? And in this newly created role, he will develop clear rules for crypto businesses to follow in the US. So imagine having an individual that is already well in the venture capital sphere, right? And who are venture capitalists? They're investing in new startups, specifically crypto startups. He already invested in multiple of them. And now he's put in a situation where it's literally, he has a blank slate. He can write down favorable regulations. How great is that for us? This is great, right? So you have individuals that really know their way around Wall Street, Silicon Valley, crypto, have invested in crypto startups before, have venture capital companies, know how to get things done, already very well established, very successful businessmen. And here they are at the forefront of regulation. So this is all great for us. Another interesting individual is the one right here. This is a very interesting individual, Paul Atkins, right? He's the future SEC. He's going to replace Gary Gensler. And what makes him so interesting is that he is already been SEC commissioner before. He is a crypto advocate. He runs an crypto advocacy group, and he's going to lead a regulatory agency previously, and that was considered hostile by Gary Gensler. That was suing anything that has to do with DeFi, anything that has to do with Ethereum, and so on and so forth. Now, here's an individual that is literally, and keep this in mind, we're going to look at him even closer shortly. So here's an individual that literally is going to be the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission. He runs his own consulting company, consulting crypto companies, startups, as well, as we'll see shortly. Here on the left is another billionaire, self-made, very, very successful business person that is also running Cantor Fitzgerald. Unlike Atkins and Sachs, who are remaining in their respective positions, still running their businesses, Lutnick actually he's quit. He quits as the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, and is going to fully focus all his energy on his position as the Secretary of Commerce, right? And what's this individual is known for in particular, he holds a 5% share of Tether, right? So he's heavily invested in the stablecoin industry, and his company holds a 5% share of Tether, which is, as we know, the world's largest stablecoin, right? And he's also very well-versed in the financial service industry, and is well-known on Wall Street as well. So, but now, who got all these individuals to their respective positions? Who got these individuals elected, including Trump himself? Now, this is the most important part that we should take away here. So these are all of them, just to get this out of the way. These are all VCs, VC companies, heavily invested, and VC companies that are investing in fintech. In the same, remember what was being sued? Consensus was being sued, anything that had to do, let's go back there. Let's go back there. We are very visual individuals, so it's good for us to really see. Okay. Remember how we read that anything that had to do, okay, here, crypto firms, right? Focused on Ethereum and DeFi, decentralized finance, have been heavily targeted by the SEC last year, right? Anything that had to do with Ethereum and DeFi, stable coins, and all of that was being attacked, right? Now, the irony is, here we have individuals that are literally investing in crypto fintech startups. And these startups are developed using smart contracts. So they are mainly developed on Ethereum, as we will see shortly, right? These are smart contract applications, decentralized applications that are being developed on Ethereum. So these are venture capitalists that are focusing primarily on fintech, meaning on DeFi startups. And look how much they've invested, they donated. So Andreessen Horowitz, they are a Silicon Valley VC firm, right? And they're betting big on crypto startups. You don't build startups on proof of work consensus. You're building startups on a proof of stake consensus where there are smart contracts, right? And keep this in mind. So these big donators that put all these individuals we just saw in their respective offices, they particularly invested, or rather donated, $47 million, right? And these other VC startup companies that also heavily invest in fintech startups, they also invested $500K, right? And then we see this Multicoin Capital, they're also a crypto fund that invests in a combination of crypto companies and tokens on behalf of clients. And they are also donated $250,000, right? And then there's this crypto fund with 2 billion assets under management. They donated $100K, and then another fund also donated another $500,000. So we see that VCs And fintech companies and funds have literally donated tens of millions of dollars to put these individuals in the office, right? And they didn't do it just because they love politics. They did it so that they can receive favorable clarifications in regards to regulation that will favor them to constantly invest in crypto startups, right? And build their crypto funds and continuously betting big on crypto startups, right? This is the reason why they're spending big money to elect the right people in the administration to bring them clarity, regulatory clarity that are favorable to them, right? So let's keep this in mind. Now, let's go even deeper. Remember, I told you to keep in mind these two companies that were sued. Let's go back. I always like to, let's use this YouTube to visualize things. So remember how I told you to keep in mind Coinbase and Kraken? Because they are also one of those two largest centralized exchanges in the US, and that they were also being sued by the SEC, right? Now, let's continue looking at the donors. You'll be surprised. So Coinbase and Kraken, let's go right to them. The largest donor, it's probably nothing. It's just a coincidence. Coinbase is by far the largest donor, right? And they were the ones really heavily being sued by the SEC. They donated 74.5 million, right, to the cause. That's Coinbase. And look at where Kraken, probably it's just a coincidence, right? Nothing really special. It's probably just a coincidence. But it happens that Kraken also is right here. They donated 1 million. Look who else. Let's go to look at who else. Consensus. They were heavily backing this new administration, right? Like we just saw them, that the crypto software that are behind anything from the wallet to the developer tools to the infrastructure tools to the oracles, anything that is needed to run, build, explore the blockchain technology, it's Consensus. They're the most battle tested. They've been around for the longest. Guess what? They are heavily donated as well in this administration, 800,000. So we see that a crypto software company set up by one of the co-founders of Ethereum. So the co-founder of Consensus is also the co-founder of Ethereum itself. That's how significant this is. Let's keep that in mind. Of course, we know that Ethereum is the second largest crypto network, right? So anyway, like we said, Kraken is here. Circle, does that sound familiar? The issuer of USDC stablecoin. They also donated 1 million. Now, keep in mind, Circle is partially owned by Coinbase, right? Between Coinbase and it's owned, and Circle and Coinbase together partnered to issue USDC stablecoin. And then Ripple, it's not a surprise. They've also been heavily sued. They're actually the largest blockchain that have been sued first by the SEC. They've been through this for 4 or 5 years. They're finally coming out swinging, and we see them thanking this administration with 48 million, right? So obviously, we'll see favorable administrations, favorable regulations in terms of for Ripple as well. And then Gemini, of course, as well. We know the twins, Winklevoss twins, the ones that sued Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. They also have their own centralized exchange, Gemini. They're also donated $5 million. They actually were the first ones to donate and publicly donate and actually vouch for President Trump. So this is just for us, community, to understand who was behind this administration. It's important for us to understand who was actually behind electing, or rather putting these individuals in the office by putting their money where their mouth is. It was Consensus that was sued. Kraken that was sued, Circle was sued, Coinbase, right? Gemini, Ripple, these are all companies that were sued. And then VC companies such as Silicon Valley company that are very well connected in Wall Street and invest in big crypto startups. They are heavily invested in this administration as well. We're just painting a picture of, we always just hear, oh yeah, crypto regulations are coming and pro crypto, la la la. But these are established venture capitalist companies, established funds, established crypto companies that are participating here, that have heavily invested in these individuals. So what does that mean in terms of regulation? It's clear that they are going to be extremely favorable, very favorable, very favorable. So this is just this for us to understand what's happening. Now, another company I really want us to understand and look at their board of directors and the advisory is this one called Securitize. It plays a major role. It plays a major role. And the reason why it plays such a major role is we're going to understand why. So I'd like us to look at it first. First of all, Securitize, like we know, it's the leader in real-world asset tokenization. So two things. Real-world assets is the killer app right now. This is the real use case for the blockchain technology, our real-world assets, and tokenizing real-world assets. This is the real deal. And Securitize is the leader. Like, they are the top of the top. They're the best of the best. They partnered together with BlackRock, like we know, and together they came up with the BIDL token. They also facilitate many other products, liquidity funds with other products, other companies such as Ondo and so on and so forth, right? And they have fund tokenization and all that. They have really there. Let's look at it. Maybe we can look at it some more. Yes. So Securitize is all about treasury, tokenized treasury, like we know, DeFi. We all know about DeFi that was being sued by the former SEC. They didn't want this to progress. So DeFi is in the heart of Securitize. That's the whole purpose, right? And treasury is US debt, bond market, tokenizing that. And DeFi, let's keep this in mind, decentralized finance. Remember how the former SEC was suing everything that is on Ethereum or has to do with DeFi? This is the reason why. Another thing is offer a more secure and yield seeking. Remember how the SEC was suing Ethereum or was against Ethereum formerly, or anything that earns yield was being looked at as a security and all that? This is what Securitize is doing. They're issuing BIDL token, for example, that is that. So these are the things that we need to understand first. What is what? So, of course, stablecoin, like we said, and collateral, right? So let's understand these four things. They're very important. Treasury, tokenized treasury, DeFi, right? Develop new financial products allowing blockchain companies to create potentially yield-bearing, high-quality on-chain assets, right? Streamlined processes and DeFi interoperability. So they want to create products, assets that are made for DeFi. How will they do this, community, if there's no regulatory clarity? And how can they do this if Gensler was still to be at the SEC suing anything with Ethereum, consensus, DeFi? So you see that all of that is getting ready to be changed, and Securitize is at the forefront. So treasury, let's keep this in mind, DeFi, stable coins, and collateral, right? Leverage your on-chain assets as collateral for loans or margin trading. Let's keep these four in mind, community. It's very, very important. Now, let's go even a step further. All of this is on-chain solutions, right? On-chain solutions for institutions. Keep this in mind. DeFi, tokenized treasury, tokenized US dollar, stable coins, and collateral, right? Let's keep this in mind. Now, let's look at, now that we've looked at what they're all about and how they're the largest tokenization tokenized assets providers, service providers, and so on, and how they're focusing on DeFi, stablecoins, tokenized treasuries. It's important for us to look at who is at the board of directors, right? Who is sitting at the board, right? Of course, the CEO and co-founder himself, but then look at who's sitting at the board of directors with the co-founder. Is a managing director from BlackRock, right? We've seen this before. Very, very important. Very important, because BlackRock and Securitize, they are partners. They're partnered to develop BUIDL token, right? So now I want us to look at the advisory board. Remember Atkins, Paul Atkins, the up and coming, starting next week, he'll be the Security and Exchange Commissioner, replacing Gary Gensler. Look at where he's advising. He's advising Securitize, who is big on tokenized treasury, DeFi, right? Like we see here, tokenized treasury, DeFi, stable coins, and collateral, right? And this is what Securitize is specializing in. And this is where he is sitting at the advisory board. So you have a Security and Exchange Commissioner starting next week, and he's sitting at the advisory board of the largest tokenization platform that is focusing on DeFi, tokenized treasury bills, stable coins, and using all those tokenized assets as collateral. He's sitting as an advisor there, right? But not only him, there's a representative of JP Morgan also sitting right there as an advisor. So there's a JP Morgan individual as well. Now, there is somebody from Barclays as well, right? There's somebody from Google as well. But to top all of this off and to make it really, really sweet is this lady right here, right? She's from the World Economic Forum. She's the managing director from the World Economic Forum, like we said. And they're all sitting at Securitize as advisors. And Securitize specializes in DeFi, in stable coins, in tokenized treasury bills, and also using those tokenized assets as collateral. Let's keep all of this in mind, because now we're going to World Economic Forum directly. Keep in mind, we're trying to find out what's the impact of these crypto regulations. How impactful is it? Everything we've discussed so far, let's always keep that in mind. And one thing I want us to discuss here is just this sentence. First of all, this is again from the World Economic Forum, right? How tokenization is transforming global finance and investment. Now, I'm not a native English speaker, but I understand that is means present, right? It's already happening. It's not will, would, or any other speculations. Is, right? So it is already happening as we speak. This is not something that is going to happen. We are speculating and maybe and who knows, and no. Tokenization is transforming global finance and investments. Done. It is doing it. But let's not take this, let's not take it to its face value. As always, we have to scrutinize, we have to criticize, we have to look at, verify, right? So another thing I want us to look at here is that now, after years of investments, so it is really happening. Proof of concept and testing. The planets are aligning, and tokenization of financial assets is finally happening at an institutional and government level. Oh, so it is true. So tokenization is transforming global finance. It is true. The is really true. And they're telling us they've been doing it for years, investing for years, and they have a proof of concept. They've been testing, and the planets are aligning, and tokenization of financial assets is finally happening on an institutional and governmental level. And that this shift is going to forever change the way that nations trade and promote more inclusive financial participation. This sounds really, really good, but I'm still not convinced. Let's dig even deeper. Let's not take their word for it, right? Let's look at this even further. So let's verify that. Let's verify that. So with this article, something else. So we just read how tokenization is changing everything. And we also read how they said that they've been testing for years, they've invested for years, they've gone through proof of concepts and all this and all that, right? Okay, let's verify. So it says here that JP Morgan, the largest bank in the world, already debuted tokenized BlackRock shares as collateral with Barclays. Okay, so what else are they saying that is interesting? I want us to read here. This is to verify the article we just read from the World Economic Forum. They set the agenda and companies execute. So JP Morgan has carried out its first live blockchain-based collateral settlement transactions involving BlackRock and Barclays, the US banking giant, right? So, okay, it's true then. They already carried it out. It's a done deal. They've done it. And it's a live blockchain-based collateral settlement transaction. They've been through it. Where did it take place? Well, of course, on Ethereum, right? So JP Morgan's Ethereum-based Onyx blockchain and the bank's tokenized collateral network was used by BlackRock to tokenize shares in one of its money market funds, right? So the tokens were then transferred to Barclays as collateral over the counter for derivatives trades. So we have, you see it here. We read it that this is the goal. This is what they wanted to achieve. They want to use digital ledger technology to achieve this, right? And here we are reading an article between BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, the largest bank in the world, using Ethereum blockchain technology to do what? Tokenized collateral, use the tokenized collateral network to as a transaction. If we go even further, it says here that tokenization occurred within a matter of minutes through connectivity between the funds transfer agent and TCN, which is tokenized collateral network, right? JP Morgan said, so it took them minutes to do this. And the transfer between BlackRock and Barclays was near instantaneous. It was so smooth, quickly, and represents a first for BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Barclays, where shares of money market funds are used as collateral between bilateral derivatives counterparties. Why is this so significant? Because tokenization of traditional financial assets is a big deal for banks, and we'll see why. We'll get there. And it's an area where JP Morgan has been leading the charge. And it's joined by the likes of Citibank. Citibank is also one of the top 5 banks in the world. So we see that this article from World Economic Forum, obviously they're right. They're right. They're telling us we've been investing for years. We have a proof of concept. We've been testing things, and the planets are aligning, and tokenization of financial assets is finally happening. We just verified it. And these are not some random small local banks. These are the largest asset manager in the world, and the largest bank in the world, and the largest bank, Barclays, in England. And they're all representatives of Securitize, and they're all right here, right? We saw JP Morgan is being represented right here. we saw Barclays. Barclays is also being represented, and these are, like we said, they're sitting at the advisory board, and we have the lady from the World Economic Forum that ensures that everything that is put out to be executed by the World Economic Forum is literally being executed, right? Now, one last thing I want us to look at here, community. Let's come back to the World Economic Forum, because these are not some random news articles by some random journalists. This is straight from the website, from the World Economic Forum itself. What's interesting here is that they're saying here the business case for tokenization, right? This is the business case for tokenization. Besides the business case, let's point out what are the business cases: smart contracts and automated processes. This is the business case, smart contract. Each time you hear smart contracts and tokenization, Ethereum should ring a bell in our heads, because that's the largest blockchain with smart contracts and real world assets. Don't take my word for it. We're about to verify as well. But before we go there, let's just look at other business cases, right? One and the most is shortened settlement cycles. We just read how JP Morgan was so thrilled, talking about how quickly seamless everything was, right? Remember how we read here? Tokenization occurred within a matter of minutes, right? How it was near instantaneous. Remember? This is exactly what we see here. These are the business cases, right? Besides the smart contracts and automated processes, it's shortened settlement cycle. So literally we are seeing how BlackRock, Barclays, JP Morgan are literally executing on the business case for tokenization right in front of us. And in DeFi. So shortened settlement, fine. Okay, what else? Improved liquidity. You can't do anything. They're in the liquidity business. There's nothing you can do without it. Why is liquidity so important? Because it enhances market efficiency. But that's nothing new to us. We know that as a community. We know this already, right? And this also lowers systemic risk. We'll get to that systemic risk when we get to banking. So, and of course, the demand for 24/7 market operations will require something, community. We know this by now. What will it require? A new infrastructure backbone. We've been talking about this over and over again. All of these are cute and nice, but it can't happen if we don't have an infrastructure backbone, right? And why is this? Furthermore, by using distributed ledger technology for collateral management, financial institutions can free up substantial capital. We'll also get to this. But first things first. First of all, distributed ledger technology. In this whole article and on this entire World Economic Forum platform, there is no mention of specific assets. It's about the technology. They understand that it's the technology that is at the core of all of this. You can't do this without smart contracts. If you hear distributed ledger technology, that means smart contracts. That's what it means. So if we want to use smart contracts for the digital ledger technology for collateral, if we want to shorter settlement cycles, if you want to improve our liquidity and enhance market efficiencies, if you want to lower risk, systematic risk, and we need a new infrastructural backbone. There is no way else to do this, right? But don't take my word for it. Really don't. Let's listen to what's said here. I'd like us to listen to this. What infrastructure means, the impact, the importance of infrastructure, right? So let's listen to this real quick.
Let me go to a clip here, because this is Larry Fink talking about what is going to be the next phase of growth especially around the financial markets. Take a look.
For democratic economies to continue to grow and Western economies to continue to grow, we're going to have to rely more on the private sector. And the brilliance of the United States economy is based on the capital markets. We underestimate the power of our global capital markets and mostly the US capital markets. It is my belief that capital markets are going to become a larger and larger economic engine here in the United States and all throughout the world. And I do believe we're going to have to rely more on the private capital, private sector. That's what President Trump's talking about in some of the new policies, and we'll see how that rolls out. So if I had a crystal ball, I would tell you right now that the sectors that are going to grow the most in the capital markets in the private space will be infrastructure.
So community, you hear that infrastructure. This is not me saying it. This is Larry Fink himself. This is the CEO and founder of BlackRock, which is the largest asset manager in the world, that is heavily partnered with Securitize and has issued BIDL, a tokenized treasury token, right, on Ethereum. And he's literally confirming what we just read from the World Economic Forum, that to get all of this DeFi done, he also mentioned Trump, who promised that he's going to bring clarity on regulations in terms of DeFi. So he's literally giving him a dap, telling him, hey, we've done everything we can, we financed everything. So it's now, you need to make sure you bring clarity in these regulations so that we can build and develop this infrastructure. The largest movements in US financial markets will need infrastructure. So here you have it again, confirmed. You hear it from Larry Fink himself. Infrastructure plays a major role in all of this community. And we see it laid out by the World Economic Forum. We see it through Amazon already reserving and purchased the Amazon Ethereum.org. They're the largest cloud computing service providers. And now you hear it from Larry Fink himself. Infrastructure plays a major role. We've been talking about these over and over again, right? So this is something I just wanted us to hear from Larry Fink himself. Now, remember how we don't like to just take things for their face value. Now that we've verified the infrastructure part, now I'd like us to look at the tokenization part, right? Let's look at tokenization. How impactful is it? And where is the smart contract blockchain with the most of the tokenized assets, the real world assets, right? Where is that? And also, I'd like us to see this right here. If we go back to Securitize, I'd like us to see which blockchain has the most tokenized treasuries, which blockchain is literally into DeFi and known as the home of DeFi, which blockchain has the most stable coins and also is being used as the home of the collateral network, right? Let's verify all of this. This is something that I want us to verify. Now, in order to do that, of course, we have to come to realworldassets.xyz. This is where you see some real numbers of real world assets, what's happening. And what I want us to look at here is, first of all, this chart right here. And you see in blue and in orange. In blue, you see private credit. Private credit has the largest chunk because keep in mind, this is collateral, right? This is collateral being used to lend and borrow. This is for the banks, right? So real world assets play a major role for banks as well. Now, the largest pie is private credit. Keep that in mind. So collateral plays a major role. And then what else? The next in red is US Treasury. These are bonds, right? Tokenized bonds, like the BIDL token is. BIDL token has this, right? So let's keep this in mind. It's very important for us to understand. So if we go further, let's look at the stable coin, for example. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to really verify. We're trying to see, verify if that's really the case. Which blockchain has the most stable coin, is pro DeFi, has the tokenized treasuries, and is heavily on with collateralization, right? So if we see here in blue, if we keep in mind, these are stable coins. So in total, there are 200 billion stablecoin market. It's only 200 billion. But if you look at the all in all, who has the largest chunk? Of course, it's Ethereum. So out of 200 billion, 120 billion is on Ethereum alone. And then less than half of that is on Tron. So Ethereum by far houses the most stable coins, by far. Now keep in mind, this Ethereum is the same blockchain that has been for years being attacked by the SEC, being sued. Ethereum itself, consensus, like we saw, DeFi has been looked at, scrutinized, stable coins have been scrutinized. So they have been just piling up of scrutiny on Ethereum. But nonetheless, despite all of that, still, they are by far have the most stable coins on their blockchain. This is for stable coins. What did we read? What else? Tokenized assets, tokenized treasuries, right? So let's look at tokenized treasuries. Which blockchain has the most? And where are the most tokenized treasuries? This is now even more mind-boggling, because if we look at the pie here for Ethereum, we see the largest pie by far is Ethereum, here in blue, with 2.6 billion. The second largest has a mere 275 million. So 10 times more. Ethereum has 10 times more than the second largest blockchain in terms of tokenized securities. Let's keep that in mind. 10 times more than its second competitor. And this is with scrutiny, no clarity on DeFi, consensus being sued, Ethereum being sued, and still it's already the largest. So what's going to happen if there's clarity? When there's crypto regulations in favor of DeFi, tokenization, stable coins, all of that. And we already have the admins. We looked at through the admins, the sitting president, they're all pro crypto. So once that takes place, Ethereum is going to do even way better than they're already doing now. They're already dominating, but it's going to be even more impactful to us. Let's keep that in mind as well. So now that we've also verified that community, because we have to verify everything, don't take things for their face value. The next thing we want to look at here is what we read about how it has a big impact on the banks. It has a big impact on the banks. Let's look at that. And this is right here. So I want us to look at this article. What makes banks fail, community? Now let's get to the banks. What makes banks fail? Why do banks fail? It's simple. It's because of two things, right? So what causes bank failures? There are two main explanations, right? First, bank runs. Bank runs can cause failures when depositors collectively withdraw their funds from otherwise solvent banks. Bank runs have been cited as an important cause of bank failures during the Great Depression, right? 1929, during last global financial crisis in 2008, and even in 2023. So the number one cause are bank runs. What is a bank run? A bank run is when the banks when depositors of the bank, when depositors come and want to withdraw their deposits from the bank, and this causes a bank run, and banks don't hold enough liquidity in their banks, so this could cause a bank run, and it can cause the banks to collapse. So the number one issue, and that caused the Great Depression, collapse in 2008, financial crisis, and even in 2023, it was because the bank runs. They don't have enough funds in their banks, and this is the reason why we saw how this happened. So what else? What's the second thing? The second thing is a failure caused by poor fundamentals. Now we see how fundamentals are important here. Fundamentals are critical. What are examples of fundamentals? The four challenges that we identified in the industry: lack of liquidity, inflation, unsustainable staking distributions, inefficient use of volume. Those are fundamentals. So liquidity, basically, bank run are caused through lack of liquidity. That's why you have a bank run. If you had liquidity, there won't be no bank run. And then fundamentals, right? And then, of course, interest rate risks. We're going to understand this even more as we progress throughout today's session. So these are important things for us to really understand, community. And these are things that are going to really make more sense as we understand how the new administration is coming in, and we are going to understand how this is going to impact us as an ecosystem, as an industry, by allowing all these things to, all the regulation clarity to take place, is going to help us as an industry tremendously. So another thing that I want us to look at now, community, is we need to now get to where we understand that countries are adopting the global Bitcoin reserve, right? So with Bitcoin reserve, we always hear how this is the promise that Trump put out there in the campaign. And it was like, okay, Bitcoin reserve is going to be put, US wants to do that. And then after that, every other country is going to do it as well. So just based on the current informations that we have currently, community, let's look at the top 15 countries based on their GDP, right? 2024, gross domestic product. So of course, the US is by far the largest economy. That's what also Larry Fink was talking about. Remember our last community event, we dedicated it in just discussing about how large the US market is, the stock market, and that the world is literally investing 75% of the world they're investing in the US stock market. That's what Larry Fink also was mentioning earlier. The stock market is so large that you see here, US is by far has the largest GDP, 25 trillion. China is second with 14, and then Japan with 4. So China and the US are by far way ahead, right? So US almost even has more, double of China. And then China has 10 trillion more than Japan. And then from the fifth one down, it's really irrelevant, right? So, but this is just to show you that US, they don't have a US Bitcoin reserve yet. China and Japan, not. Germany, no. India, UK, France, Russia, none of these top 15 have, as we speak, a Bitcoin reserve right now. None of them have it, right? And if we look at Japan and Russia, like we saw, is the third and eighth largest economies. If we look at them, they say that Japan and Russia rule out national Bitcoin reserve. So they already ruled it out, right? This was at the end of last year, right? So according to local news, both Japan and Russia have decided against establishing national Bitcoin reserves, opting to observe developments in other countries like the US, right, before making any decisions. So everybody's looking up to the US. Why? Because obviously it's the largest economy. It's only natural that you want to see what the largest economy does, and then you emulate it. You do whatever the big brother does, right? So amongst these 15 top economies, none of them has implemented a Bitcoin reserve, at least not yet. And based on Galaxy Digital, based on their research, they're predicting that the US government is also not going to buy Bitcoin in 2025. Now, keep in mind, this was one of the promises and the major promises that actually brought Trump into the office. This got him elected, that there will be a reserve, Bitcoin reserve. Bitcoin will be put as a national reserve, right? And this is Galaxy Digital Research. They are predicting that it's not going to happen, right? And according to the chain catcher, Galaxy Digital's research arm predicts that the US government will not purchase any Bitcoin in 2025, but will safeguard its existing supply, right? So this is what they are suggesting. Now, what I want us to understand here is that Galaxy Digital Research, they're not just some random Twitter influencer that gives you their random opinion. Galaxy Digital is a digital asset company, and they lay their articles or their research is being used globally, and they have a very strong connection in Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and all of that, right? And they've also been around since 2018, and they've been building financial platforms, and they're focusing on three major markets: global markets, asset management, and digital infrastructure solutions. And they've been around for the longest. So these are very well respected individuals, and with over 6 billion assets under management, right? And they have over 1,200 institutional trading counterparties and all of that. So they're also market makers. They provide liquidity for the crypto markets as well. So these are well in-tuned individuals. They're very well connected. And even their founder, Michael Novogratz, is a big Bitcoin bull. Big Bitcoin bull, predicting high numbers of. So it's not like it's somebody who doesn't like Bitcoin or anything, but they have an understanding. And based on what they've heard and what they're doing, what they've been listening to, and what they see in the markets happening, they are the ones saying that it's not going to happen. And other countries also say we're just going to sit down and wait and watch what the US is doing, right? So amongst the 15 largest economies, with Spain being the 15th at 1.4 trillion, none of them has implemented any. The third largest, Japan, and Russia already opted out, say, no, we're not going to do it for now, right? We're going to wait for US. We already had Jerome Powell already said that that he's not going to change the rules. They can't even hold Bitcoin. And one of the appointees from Trump already said that he doesn't see any value added if holding Bitcoin as a reserve currency. We watched that short tape earlier in one of our community events. So, but let's look at the one country that literally adopted and embraced Bitcoin as a reserve, and they're using it, right? Let's look at its GDP. GDP of 34 billion. 34 billion, right? We saw the 15th largest economy being Spain at 1.4 trillion. 1.4 trillion was the 15th, right? And this is 34 billion. This is the GDP of the entire country. They are the ones who are adopting Bitcoin, right? So none of the large ones are adopting it. It's actually one of the smallest one adopting it. And just to put this into perspective, community, let's look at 34. That's the entire GDP of the entire country of El Salvador. So let's look at the revenue of Apple. Apple's revenue in 2024 was 391 billion. So Apple's revenue alone is more than 10 times of the entire GDP of El Salvador. And that's the country that literally has Bitcoin as their reserve, right? Embraced Bitcoin. But none of the ones that are really influential markets, countries, nations that are market movers, 34 billion is not going to make any difference, because Apple's revenue alone last year is more than 10 times more than the entire El Salvadorian GDP. If you look at Amazon, it's even almost double, right? It's 620 billion. That's just last year's revenue for Amazon, is even 20 times that of the entire GDP of El Salvador, right? So 620 billion, as we see here. Why are we talking about all of this, community? Why are we talking about all of this? It's because we understand that Securitize, partnering with BlackRock, launching their tokenized treasury fund known as BIDL on the Ethereum blockchain. By them doing this, they are literally just doing exactly what the World Economic Forum has suggested them to do. And this is to use smart contracts by using the digital ledger technology, distributed ledger technology, for collateral. And to do this, you need new infrastructure. We had how he himself, Larry Fink, said that that's the number one largest cost is infrastructure. Infrastructure needs to be built for tokenized assets. We had that. And this should be used as for collateral, right? And it will be done by smart contracts. We also saw that, we read here, that this has been in the years in the making. We saw the proof of concept through BlackRock and JP Morgan and Barclays. We read how they're heavily using their tokenized platform for that, right? And as we see here in this article, we also see how BlackRock is integrating their BIDL fund as collateral, right? For large centralized exchanges such as Binance, OKX, but also for Aave for DeFi as well. So what makes this so unique? Why is this something so special? Because BIDL is different. It's distinguishing itself from other stablecoins because it's actually offering you interest. It's offering you interest to holders. So it's an attractive option for institutional investors seeking both yield and security. And why are all these things? Why is this article so interesting? Why is this so important? It's because this is exactly what's bothering the banks. This is what the banks are really suffering from. And this is what the banks really need. This is critical for the banks. This is a big deal for the banks. Don't take my word for it. Let's look at this article. And this is how we're going to close out, community. You see how tokenization of traditional financial assets, it's a big deal for banks. It is a big deal for banks. And that is an area where JP Morgan has been leading the charge, with now joined by the likes of Citibank, right? So why is tokenization such a big deal for the banks? We can't just take their word for it. Let's understand why it's such a big deal for the banks. And to understand that, we need to read this article. Let me share this article with you. So if we see this article here, we see that what happened, the reason why Silicon Valley Bank failed was because all of the funds they were getting, up to $200 billion, what were they doing with it? This influx of deposits was largely invested in medium and long-term treasuries, right? So they were investing in US debt. And this was for mid and medium term, meaning 6 months or 1 year and above, 3 years. And the reason why this was such a big issue is because they were not able to withdraw whenever the depositors wanted to get their money out. And this is exactly what was the big deal and caused them to fail, as we see here. So we see here that by the end of the day on Thursday, March 9th, 42 billion in deposits had left the bank, right? So they urged the clients to remain calm and keep their deposits in the institution. However, the stock went down and it caused panic. And that same day, $42 billion of deposits left the bank. Remember how bank failures are run on a bank? And because lack of liquidity and lack of fundamentals, those are the two reasons: lack of liquidity and the rest of the fundamentals. So this is the reason why this is what caused the bank to collapse. And they literally had to sell their securities at a loss. They literally had to sell all of these at a loss because they were not able to get the liquidity out to back the depositors' deposits. And this is the reason why when we read here and it tells us that all of this is because we need to help the banks. It's important for the banks. The banks are highly needed in this. And we need to take their word for it. And this is how we're going to close, community. This is how we're going to close. Tokenization, like we said, we read how easy it was for BlackRock and JP Morgan to run through and get everything done. It was so smoothly, right? Tokenization occurred within minutes, and it was a near instant. This is why it's important for the banks, because Silicon Valley Bank collapsed because they had to sell those mid to long-term assets, treasury bills, before they matured. So they were losing money and they couldn't get the liquidity quick enough. But with tokenizations, all of this can now be done within minutes, instantaneously. And this is why BIDL is being used as collateral, because it's the same tokenized treasury that Silver Valley Bank was invested in, or banks rather invested in, such as JP Morgan. But now you are earning interest in the terms of dollar, and you can also use your BIDL fund as collateral. So you don't even have to sell it. And that network is already built. It's already built. It's already developed, like we saw. We saw it here. This is a network that is already developed. It already enables clients to access intraday liquidity. It's a done deal via repo transactions, and it's instantaneous. And it's doing this now with the launch of the TNC, right, tokenized collateral network. Clients can benefit from additional utility from their money market funds investments by posting tokenized money market fund shares as collateral. And why? Because it's a faster, more cost-effective way of meeting margin requirements. What are margin requirements? This means that when depositors are removing so much liquidity from your bank, you can quickly and instantly liquidate these tokenized assets, and you get, because BUIDL is paired with USDC stablecoin, so instantly you can liquidate them into USDC, and you won't have to have a bank run. You can have those assets immediately, and meanwhile you're also earning monthly. You're getting paid monthly. You accumulate daily, but you get paid monthly, so you're always liquid, and you can liquidate it instantly. And this is why it's important what they say here. This is why this is a big deal for banks specifically, because banks are suffering from bank runs. So all of this that we've been discussing so far, community, these are all items. These are the reasons why crypto regulations play such a major role to us as an industry. It plays such a big role to us. It's because, first of all, BlackRock launched, like we said, its first tokenized fund, and we saw how World Economic Forum said, first steps first, launch on a digital ledger technology that is using smart contracts, one that is focusing on DeFi, tokenized treasury bills, stable coins, and is using collateral. All those things are being met with BUIDL right now, and they're all on the Ethereum network, right? And this is exactly why all of that is going to benefit us so much, because it means Ethereum is the one that has been attacked so heavily, like we've been seeing. And Securitize is focusing on tokenized treasury, DeFi, stablecoins, and collateral. And all of these are items that are already being implemented as we speak. They're already online. They're already being in use, like we saw, right? These are networks that are in full effect, and they're already Ethereum based. And all that is taking place already, like we read here on the World Economic Forum. They have a proof of concept. It's been tested. Planets are aligning, and tokenization of financial assets is finally happening. And we've seen it, we've verified it, it's taking place. So whenever we talk about crypto regulations, and we remember how we read this is how we're going to close out. We read this, how crypto firms focused on Ethereum and DeFi have been heavily targeted by the SEC. So if you see how Ethereum has been lagging, how Ethereum has been behind, and not moving as much as everybody else, is because of this. The SEC has been really behind crypto companies focusing on Ethereum and DeFi. DeFi has been under fire. Any crypto company on Ethereum has been under fire. We saw Coinbase, Kraken, Consensus, like we see here, has also been on fire. And we saw what Consensus is all about, right? All we know about Consensus is MetaMask, but that's just on the front side of it. For developers, Consensus plays a major role, because you can, like we ourselves, we're using the Infura. Need that for smart contract. That's a smart contract development tool. You also need security for that. And if you run an ecosystem, you need things from staking, from oracles, all of that. So Consensus plays a major role. And it being sued, obviously developers stopped developing, and people are like, okay, let's just sit down and wait for what's happening, right? However, the good news is that the World Economic Forum is telling us they were not sitting around and waiting. They have been in the background developing for years. They have a proof of concept, they've been testing, everything is here now. And with the army of individuals that we see here that are already in the advisory board, the elected officials, we see here that representatives of JP Morgan are here. We see how Atkins himself, that is entering office next week, is the new U.S. Security and Exchange Commissioner. He is already here as an advisor, right? Barclays is here. If we go up and look at the board of directors, we see BlackRock is there already. And then, of course, we see the World Economic Forum itself is also here. So not only do we have an entire administration that is pro-crypto, but we also have representatives at the securitized company that are pro-crypto and that are literally representing, from World Economic Forum to BlackRock itself, JP Morgan, Atkins himself is there as well. So we see how all of these things are playing in line. And who are the investors? Large VC companies invested tens of millions into this, and also large crypto companies such as Coinbase, Ripple itself, Circle, Kraken, Consensus have heavily invested in this campaign for this office. So what does all of this mean? It means that the regulations will be favorable. And once they are favorable, we'll understand that the largest smart blockchain that is the home of DeFi, and we know that's obviously Ethereum, that has the most tokenized treasury bills, that is Ethereum, has the most stable coins, which is Ethereum, and has a collateral network that is leveraging the chain assets on chain. And as we know and we saw, that is also Ethereum. So all those four items are actually on Ethereum already, right? JP Morgan themselves, they have an Ethereum-based blockchain, and they have the tokenized collateral network on the blockchain. And they've partnered and used BlackRock's money market funds as collateral for the derivatives market. There's really nothing else to say here. So all that has been keeping us behind is the policies of the SEC that has literally been filing not just against the largest software company, Consensus, whose founder is a co-founder of Ethereum, but any other company that is focusing on Ethereum and DeFi. And this is getting ready to be more lenient and more favorable starting next week. So this community, whenever we talk about crypto regulations, let's keep all of this in mind, is that the beneficiary that will benefit the most is definitely Ethereum, because now finally we'll have DeFi in full swing. All of these things are falling in line perfectly for us, right? We have pro-crypto regulators, pro-crypto donors, investors, companies, venture capitalists, investment funds. Everything is on there. And the home of DeFi, tokenized treasuries, stable coins, collateral, all of that is on Ethereum itself. And this is why it's important for us to understand that crypto regulation are literally going to benefit the most, are going to benefit us as an industry, Ethereum. How does all that affect us as an ecosystem, on an ecosystem level now? It means that so much liquidity is getting ready to be flooded onto Ethereum. And our ecosystem, of course, rising tides lifts all boats, right? Is going to benefit from all that liquidity rush that is about to come. And once that happens, are you part of first of all, to make DeFi work, like we always say, you need two things. You need a community that is very informed, educated, and purpose-driven. And you need a platform that is addressing the four challenges. What are the four challenges? Lack of liquidity, inflation, unsustainable staking distributions, and inefficient use of volume. Why are those things so important? It's because, first of all, we read how liquidity has been causing bank runs because lack of it. So obviously you want liquid, just as to show how important liquidity is. And this is why all this tokenization is a big deal for banks, because now they can be liquid. Now they can use the digital ledger technology to be liquid. And this is exactly what we're doing, not just through buy and sell taxes, but also through the 10% we put aside that is receiving staking rewards that we can use for buybacks and restaking. And also because we have NFT boosters that we use its revenue to actually add more to our liquidity, to have a more sustainable and healthy liquidity. So all the proceeds from the sale of these NFTs go towards liquidity as well. And the community as well, they can also use their distributions, USDC distributions, to compound as they please. So that's in terms of liquidity. Lack of liquidity, that's how we're addressing it, through smart contracts and mechanisms that we have in place. Same with inflation. Unlike other staking platforms, with every buy and sell, with every trade, we are literally scarce. Not the scarce that they talk about Bitcoin is scarce. No, real scarcity. We started with 1 million in supply, right? And you can see here that now currently we've burnt more than 35,000 tokens. So we went from 1 million in supply to 964,000. So 34,000 BRL tokens are literally removed from the total supply. That's what you call scarcity. Literally, the supply is shrinking with every single trade. Buy or sell, it doesn't matter. The supply is shrinking. You need this. This is very important for a staking platform, because you don't want to stake a commodity that is inflationary. You don't want that. You want to stake something that is not even at least deflationary, but preferably scarce. This is what makes our staking platform so special, because we don't give you our native tokens. You receive USDC distributions, and it's sustainable because it derives from the volume. The more liquidity we retain, the more volume you get. The more volume, this is where the US distributions come from, right? 1% out of the volume is being accumulated for the staking part, right? And also what I want to highlight here is that on Etherscan, everything is so transparent. Our largest wallet, the number one wallet, is the staking contract. And if you see it here, you go there, it also shows you, and you come right here, you'll realize that this is the smart contract, this is the staking contract, and it's accumulating USDC, right? Distributions. So we are at 5,300 right now. So this is how efficient and sustainable our staking platform is. The more liquidity we retain, the more volume. The more volume, the more USDC distributions we develop. So it's an ecosystem that is efficient and sustainable. So it gives you sustainable staking distributions. It's using its volume efficiently to retain more liquidity, to be more scarce, and to accumulate more USDC. So the more this technology is adopted, is embraced, the more the platform is being used, the more the token is being traded, the more it burns, the scarcer it gets, the more liquidity it accumulates, or it retains rather, and the more USDC distributions it also accumulates for the stakers. Why are these aspects so important? It's because it's a win-win-win for the holder, for the trader, and the staker, right? The stakers are happy because they don't have to worry about the traders they don't have to worry about the traders trading, because the more traders are trading, the more USDC they accumulate. And the traders don't have to worry about being sold on, because the stakers are staking and compounding because they want to accumulate even more USDC. And the holder is happy because they're seeing the traders keep trading, the stakers keep staking and holding, and they can comfortably hold an asset that is deflationary and liquid and very much traded. It's a win-win-win for all market participants, whether you're just a holder, a trader, or a staker. Win-win-win situation for everyone. And this is exactly the environment you want to create within an ecosystem, right? And this is the reason why we are, as an ecosystem, we're going to make the most out of this liquidity rush that we are experiencing, because we are addressing these 4 challenges. You can't make DeFi work if you don't have a community that understands how the platform works, is informed, educated, and purpose-driven in terms of understanding like we have a platform that is working for us. And the more it's embraced and adopted, the more liquid it becomes, the more traded it gets, and the more volume it gets, the scarcer it gets, and the more liquid, the more USDC distributions for the stakers, the more liquidity for the traders, and it's a win-win for everyone. So that's exactly how we're going to take advantage of this opportunity, community. And with that said, I'd really want to come now back to you, community, and check with you whether there are any feedbacks from your side. It's been a long session with a lot of information. I'm glad that we are actually recording all of this so we can re-listen to it to have a better understanding of all of this if we need to do so, as there is really quite a bit of information to digest. So community, with that said, let me come back to you and check with go through your comments. Brother Peter says hello. Queen Aloshi says, here we are again with our able and caring devs, Steve and Mama Wino, who leave no stone unturned to ensure we are updated with the latest information relating to crypto. I give glory to God for them. Thank you so much, Queen Aloshi, for your feedback, your kind words. You're very much appreciated for your consistency, your leadership as well. I hope this session, you were able to take away something from this session today in understanding what's coming and how we can embrace this opportunity as an industry, and how we as an ecosystem are literally embracing it as a community by having such a platform that makes the most out of everything that is coming our way, and what impact that these regulations really will have on us. And Queen Lati says, hello, Bullrun community. Let me salute our developers for being visionary leaders and exceptional in the crypto industry. King Steve and Queen Awino, crypto runs in your veins, waiting anxiously to hear. Thank you so much, Queen Lati. It's a pleasure always seeing you in the community. We appreciate your efforts, your commitment, your consistency in the community as well. Queen Lati says, waiting anxiously to hear what's in store for us today with regards to crypto regulations. Take us on, our professor. You have defied all odds in the industry and came out unique with your approaches. Thank you so much, Queen Lati, for your feedback and your kind and welcoming words. I hope that this session today really enlightened and shed some light on what to expect, what's coming our way. Not just talking about regulations, but really understanding how it will impact us, and how the individuals positioned within this administration are literally going to make it happen. We have Queen Patricia saying, another great day to hear from our ecosystem developer, Brother Steve. Can't wait to hear from you. Always a pleasure seeing you, Queen Patricia, in the community. We appreciate your participation, your leadership as well. Queen Emily says, blessed to be here once again. Thank you, Brother Steve, Queen Mom, Queen Val, and all the ecosystem family. We are also very, very grateful and humbled to have you here with us today, Queen Emily. And yes, we thank everyone that is very engaged and chipping in, adding value to this ecosystem in their own special way, according to their own abilities. Queen Deborah says, greeting to you, community. Greetings to you, my brother Steve, and our beautiful Queen Mother Wino. I just want to take this time to appreciate you, my brother Steve, for your commitment. May God bless you. Thank you so much, Queen Debbie. You're very, very much appreciated for your kind words and your welcoming words. Thank you for the appreciation. I can only give it back as well. You're also very, very much appreciated for all your efforts, your commitment, your consistency, your leadership by example. You never fail, you never miss. You're always consistently being part of these sessions and leading in these weekly events on Fridays or on Sundays with the Queens. So thank you also. You're very much appreciated. Big thank you from all of us to you as well. Brother James says, wow, waiting for this great education. I hope that it was worthwhile, Brother James. Glad to see you in the community as well. Queen Patricia says, hello, Bullrun family. Another beautiful session for us. We are all blessed. Thank you so much, Queen Patricia. We're also very happy to have you in the community. Thank you for your feedback as well. Very much appreciated. We have Queen Mother Caroline says, greetings. We are in the right place at the right time. And the more you know, the better you become. We must persevere and trust the process. Beautifully said, Queen Mother Caroline. It's always a pleasure seeing you in the community. Thank you for your uplifting, your positive energy, which is very, very contagious. We appreciate your consistency as well, your leadership, your warm, welcoming spirit to all the new members, and are always participating in these weekly events. Thank you so much for all your efforts that you put in as well. Chuntao says, can't wait for this one. Glad, and I hope that you are able to take away something from today's session. My great brother WPR says, hello, King Steve and Bullrun ecosystem family. This is the year for us. We just need crypto regulation, especially in regards of Ethereum ETF staking and stablecoin. We will definitely make most of it. There's really nothing more to add to this. This is so on point. This is exactly what's needed. This is all it will take, right? Imagine regulations of the Ethereum ETF, staking ETF takes place, and especially the stablecoin regulations as well. We saw how all of that is so important, especially for the banks, and we know that the banking system are the ones that literally are lifting and carrying the economy, right? And it's the banks that are purchasing also a lot of these treasury bills. So once they are legally able through regulation to handle stablecoins and digital assets, it's going to be a major deal. And if Ethereum staking is approved, imagine all these Ethereum ETFs, what's going to happen. So you're on point, great brother WPR. Very, very much appreciated. This is a very good feedback. Thank you very much for that. Queen Patricia says, good evening, family. We are back again to listen and learn from our developer, King Steve. Thank you, Steve, for your dedication. Stay blessed always. Thank you so much as well, Queen Patricia, for all the efforts, your commitment, your participation. Very, very much appreciated as well. And may you also stay blessed. Have my brother Theo here says, greetings, my great brother Steve. Dearest Queen Mama Wina and my wonderful BRL family, I pray you and yours are well. Regulations, looking forward to hearing our great professor on this one. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. I hope this you were able to take away something from today's session, my great brother Theo. And I hope that you and yours are also doing great. Queen Kube says, hello family, eagerly waiting for today's session. I hope that the wait was worthwhile and that you're able to take away something from today's session. Great brother WPR says, being informed and educated is what we need to not get into emotion. With every community session, we're getting empowered. Thank you for sharing such an expensive material for free, King Steve. Thank you so much for your feedbacks, my great brother WPR. Your efforts, your commitment, your consistency, your leadership, all that you do on these various platforms, very, very much appreciated. All your efforts, your encouragement, uplifting the community, great feedbacks. Thank you so much. Very, very much appreciated, King WPR. We have Queen Cynthia saying greetings. Looking forward to today's session. I hope that the wait was worthwhile and that you were able to take away something from today's session. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community as well. Queen Gloria says, my family BRL community, that's where I belong. Thanks for taking us this far, Brother Steve. Thank you so much, Queen Gloria, as well, for your commitment and your consistency, participating in all these community events and always being part of these community events. We have Queen D says, looking forward to learning more on crypto regulations. Thank you, Steve, for your dedication and sacrifice. I can give the thanks only back also for your dedication and always participating in these community events. It goes a long way as well. Great brother Abdullah says warm greetings to you all. Warm greetings right back at you as well. My great brother Abdullah here. I hope you and yours are doing fantastic. Queen Esther says hello and happy Thursday. My BRL family, thank you once more, Queen Mama Wino and our amazing King Steve. Ready to learn about the regulations, and my eyes are fixed on the incoming bull run. Beautifully said. You're also very much appreciated, Queen Esther. Absolutely. This upcoming bull run, bull cycle, that will be kick-started by Ethereum itself. Once these regulations are really clear, then there is so much clarity about this. Like in today's session, we saw that there's literally nothing standing in the way, from World Economic Forum to Securitize to the advisory board and the board of directors at Securitize. They're all represented from the members from the World Economic Forum, Barclays, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Atkins himself, who is the future, actually next week's Security and Exchange Commissioner. So we see that we are very in good hands right now, and we are equipped for the bull run that is incoming, community. DeFi is covered, stable coins, tokenized treasury bills, and collateralization. All of that is taking place right here on Ethereum, and liquidity that is about to enter the space, matched with what brother WPR said with stake and enabled Ethereum ETFs. That's going to be a big catalyst for us. Brother WR says, the more community sessions I listen to, the more empowered I get. We are so blessed to be in this ecosystem that is literally so sustainable. We should appreciate what we have. BRL is amazing. Thank you so much for feedback. Really nothing else to add to this. Beautifully said, my great brother WPR, and you're very, very much appreciated. Queen Mother Wino herself says, greetings, queens and kings. Always looking forward to these educational sessions. Education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. I'm going to leave this as it is. There's really nothing else to add to this, Mom. Beautifully said. Indeed, it is. Education or lack thereof can either make you or break you. You're absolutely right. It's beautifully said. Queen Malawina says, there is nothing more beautiful than someone who goes out of their way to make life easy and better for others. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much as well, Mom. You are just doing the same. I'm learning from the best, and just leading by example like you have been my whole life, and also that you're doing for the queens and the rest of the community as well. So I can only give it back to you as well, Mom. Queen Val says, hello, Mr. Steve. Greetings to us bull runners. I'm looking forward to this session. Glad to always see you in the community as well, Queen Val. Hope you are well, and hope that you are able to take away something from today's session. Queen Lucy says, it's really exciting. God bless you, Mr. Steve. Thank you very much. May you also and yours be blessed as well. And we appreciate you for being part of this ecosystem. Queen Alice says, greetings, family. Nice being here. Blessings and much love. A pleasure having you here with us. We appreciate you very much, Queen Alice. And I hope you and yours are also doing great. We have Queen Theta says, greetings, Bullrun family. Happy to be here, and thank you, our Queen Mother and our brother Steve, for your dedication to teach us, and we are very grateful. So are we, Queen Theta. Very, very grateful to have you within our ecosystem, with our community. We appreciate your consistency, your leadership, your commitment. Very, very much appreciated. We have Queen Jane saying, hey, King Steve, our mom, humbled and very much excited to hear from you about this ecosystem. I hope that you're able to take away something from today's session, Queen Jane. We have Queen Louisa says, greetings, community, another empowering session. Tonight, happy to be with others, learning and being informed. Thank you, Brother Steve, for your kind heart, time, and commitment. Thank you for your kind words. Very much appreciated, Queen Louisa. We appreciate your feedback, and I can always give it back as well. for your commitment, your consistency as well. Very, very much appreciated. Queen Tomiletso says, good evening, King Steve, Mama Wino, and the Bullrun family. I'm excited to be here tonight. We are excited having you here with us as well. I hope that you're able to take away something from today's session. My great brother Abdullah, he says, hi, brother Steve, please, what do you think is the most important step for crypto projects to take in order to thrive in this new regulatory environment? This is exactly how we closed out this session. First of all, great question, my great brother Abdullahi. This is exactly how we closed this session with. It takes two things, right? It takes two things. These are the two most important steps to have and to secure to really make the most out of this regulatory environment that we're about to experience, is how we close this session by saying that, first of all, the first step is to have what we're having here, right? Have a regular sessions that we inform, educate each other, and understand what's our purpose. So we are purpose driven. We have a community that is high alert, that is critical, that analyzes things, that don't just take things for their face value, but critically analyzes it, understands it. And we need an informed and educated and purpose-driven community. That's step one. Every ecosystem needs that. Secondly, you need an ecosystem, a platform, a decentralized application. In our case, we opted for a staking platform, and you want one that is sustainable, efficient, that is addressing these four challenges in the industry, right? The first one is inflation, lack of liquidity, unsustainable staking distributions, and inefficient use of volume. Once you have a platform that is addressing those four challenges, paired with a community such as the one we have that has weekly community events regularly, daily basis on Zoom, and we are informed, educated, and purpose driven, that's the beautiful marriage, literally, that we need between the community and the platform. And this is how we're going to make the most out of this regulatory environment, Brother Abdullahi. I hope this answered your question, my brother. And we appreciate you very much for all that you do on these various platforms, Brother Abdullahi. You're very much appreciated. We have Queen Val putting in the links to our Telegram groups. This is for those members that are new in the community and are not part of our community yet. Feel free to join our Telegram groups on Killer Whale, as we see them here. We have Survivor as well. And we have Bullrun. So they're all here, as you will see. So thank you, Queen Val, for putting them up for the new members to join and participate. We have Queen Lofe says, greetings, community. Greetings right back to you too, Queen. Our pleasure seeing you in the community. We have our great brother N2B2 saying, hello, family. So glad to be here, and I always enjoy listening to these sessions to learn and obtain knowledge about crypto and finance. Is one of the greatest investments. Thank you, Steve. First of all, I thank you for being committed to listening and tuning in, and I'm glad to see that you're benefiting from these sessions and that you're opening yourself to these sessions consistently. Thank you just as much. Also, beyond that, for all the efforts on Twitter and making all the noise on Telegram and encouraging, uplifting the community, putting all the efforts and chipping in, doing your part as a community member. It doesn't go unnoticed. Very, very much appreciated, Brother N2B2. So thanks to you as well. Queen Naomi says, greetings, community. Greetings back to you too, Queen. Glad to see you in the community, and we are happy to have you here with us. Queen Grace says, hello, Steve and Bullrun family. It's yet another day to again learn more from you. Thank you for always being available to train us. More strength and grace to continue. Thank you so much, Queen Grace. Thank you as well for all your efforts, your commitment, your consistency. You never fail to miss these sessions. You're always participating in them and giving feedback and inputs. You're also just as appreciated. We have Queen Joko says greetings to you all. Greetings right back to you as well, Queen Joko. It's always a pleasure seeing you in the community. We are glad to have you here with us. My brother N2B2 says it's a blessing to hear this information from our amazing dev before it even goes mainstream. We know what is going on before the masses. Best ecosystem to be in, hands down. Thank you so much for your feedback. I'm really glad. We're glad to see that you can benefit and take something away from these sessions. Like we always encourage the community, look at these sessions as a point of reference where you can go and dive even deeper. Don't even take our words for it, right? We lay so much emphasis on verifying things. We don't like to take things for their face value. We don't like to leave statements unquestioned, unscrutinized, right? Unverified. We always like to dig deeper, go deeper and beyond the surface. And this is what makes us more informed and educated and gives us a solid understanding where we are not swayed by emotions or sentiments that we hear so much on crypto Twitter or various social platforms such as YouTube or wherever you consume your information from. This is why it's so important. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, brother N2B2. Queen Mother Wino says Bullrun family are very engaged and consistently working together. A powerful force to reckon. I feel honored to be part of this amazing community. You are all very much appreciated, family. Beautifully said. I'll leave this statement like this. There's really nothing more to add. Beautifully said, ma'am. Indeed, we are a very engaged, consistent, powerful ecosystem. And yes, we indeed very humbled to be part of this community. My brother Abdullahi says, what regulatory framework is the Bullrun ecosystem currently compliant with, and are there plans for expansion into the jurisdictions? Brother Abdullahi, great question. And the simple answer is the blockchain technology has no jurisdictions, right? If your DeFi has no jurisdiction because it's a blockchain, right? We are not restricted in one place. Like we as a community, we are from various places in the world. We are from Africa, from Asia, we're from Europe, right? US, and we all can tap into DeFi. That's the beautiful thing. It's borderless, permissionless. That's what DeFi is all about. That's what the blockchain technology has promised us, right? That it's permissionless. It's peer-to-peer, meaning it's borderless, it's permissionless, right? It's jurisdictionless. It has no jurisdictions, right? That's what DeFi is all about. That's the beautiful thing about DeFi. So we are using the blockchain technology and it's open source. It's you connect your DeFi wallet to our platform from wherever you are, right? It's not like you're not interacting with any intermediary. This is not Bitcoin where you have to, if you want to a liquidity pool that is liquid, you have to go through BlackRock and send them your money and they'll give you in turn share or a paper version of a Bitcoin. No, here it's your wallet, right? You don't give your money to anybody. There is no intermediary between you and your investment or your asset, right? You are the one in charge of your asset. You hold it, you can stake it, unstake it, sell it, buy it whenever you want. That's the beautiful thing about this. It has no jurisdiction. This is what the blockchain technology is all about in its purest form, right? This is what decentralized finance is all about. You are your own bank. You make your own decisions. You are your own custodian, right? That's what this is all about. So there are no jurisdictions. That we have no CEOs. We have no headquarters. We have no CIOs. This is not a company. This is a community, a decentralized community. So we don't need any of that, jurisdictions or all of that, because we are decentralized. That's the whole idea, right? Everybody can just get their wallets from MetaMask and then start participating in this open global economy known as the blockchain technology, known as the decentralized financial world, right? I hope that answered your question, Brother Abdullahi. Queen Tariro says, is this live right now? Yes, this is absolutely live. We have a live every Thursday, once a week, and this is definitely live. My great brother Abdullah, he says, how do you envision regulatory developments, anti-money laundering, tax, and securities laws impacting the growth and adoption of Bullrun ecosystem? Hope this was also answered as I answered this question right here, because like I said, when you have to get, when you're onboarding through either Binance, Coinbase, crypto.com, and when you're onboarding and getting your Ethereum or stablecoin USDC, you're going through a centralized exchange to get your crypto, your digital asset. And in order to get them, you already have to go through all of this, right? Like I say, we don't have to comply to all of these because, like I said, we are an application. This is just like MetaMask is open for everyone, right? It doesn't have any jurisdiction. It's a decentralized application. So before going through, before you can even have the Ethereum or USDC to use our application, decentralized application, you have to go through centralized exchanges to even get your Ethereum or your stablecoin. And at that point is where you are applying or abiding to the AML tax and all of that jurisdictions. So depending on where you live, that's where you pay your taxes. There's some countries that you don't have to pay taxes. So that's something that individually people have to pay attention and abide to the regional or local laws accordingly, right? And this is why you see many people moving to jurisdictions where the laws, crypto laws, regulations, or taxes are more favorable than others, right? So this is the reason why. I hope this really answered your question as well, Brother Abdullahi. Queen Beatrice says, greetings, community. Greetings to our dear Queen Mother and Big Brother Steve. Thank you for today's informative session. God bless you. Thank you as well, Queen Beatrice, for your feedback. We appreciate you for being part of this ecosystem, your commitment, your consistency as well. Very much appreciated. And we hope that you and yours are also blessed. Queen Nancy says, hello, Bullrun community. Winners never quit, and those who give up never win. Thank you, Mr. Steve, for this exciting, encouraging knowledge about crypto market. Thank you so much as well for your feedback and for participating, for your consistency as well. Very, very much appreciated, Queen Nancy. Queen Virginia says, thanks, Mr. Steve. Through following, I have been understanding day by day. Thanks, family. I'm glad that you're able to take away, you had something to take away from these sessions. Very, very much appreciated. Glad that you're participating. We're happy to have you in our community. Queen Joko says, thank you, Mr. Steve, for encouraging us through this lucid explanation. Thank you as well for being part of these community events. You are very, very, very much appreciated as well. Yes, yes, I'll definitely think about this next time, Jontao. I'll make sure I break it out. I haven't broken down the calculator in a while. I'll make sure to integrate it in our next community event for sure. I've been spreading the word. I hope people are watching. Keep on keeping on, Brother Jontao. Very much appreciated. Everybody's chipping in as to their best abilities, and you are very much appreciated for all that you're doing to putting the word out and bring awareness to our industry and our ecosystem as well. So keep on keeping on, Brother Jontao. Brother James says, great session. I'm glad that you're able to take away something from this today. Uncle George says, hello, Steve. Very detailed expose on the crypto industry and the architects behind the scenes. Long live Bullrun community. It's a pleasure always seeing you in the community, Uncle George. Glad to that you're able to take away something from today's session. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. Very, very much appreciated. Orbit, greetings from Brinsley Land. Thanks for inputs. Greetings back to Brinsley Land as well. I hope it's not too cold over there. It's a pleasure to have somebody from Switzerland. Great brother Theo says, wow, what a fantastic session. Absolutely epic. Great General, I thank you so much for always educating, informing, and inspiring us, and forever leading by example. We appreciate you so much. Salute. You're also very much appreciated for your participations in these community events. Very, very much appreciated. It goes a long way. Community, as you see, these reading down the comments take a while nowadays. We are really growing as a community, and I owe it to all of us to go through every single comment, and I appreciate every single one of you for participating, being proactive and engaged. Thank you so much for making these sessions so interesting by posting questions, feedbacks, as it helps everybody else listening as well. So thank you all that posted these amazing questions and that were participating. The feedbacks are great. We appreciate you all very, very much. Today was a long one. There was a lot to talk about today. I hope you are able to take away something out of these sessions today. With that said, community, I want to let's call it a session for today. Those who have not yet, I want to encourage us to engage with the tweets. And even as we conclude this session today, let's engage with today's session so it can reach as many people as possible. It's the first 15 minutes, right, of the video. Once it goes out immediately, let's engage with it. The easiest is just to comment on it, or like it, so it can reach as many people as possible. And that's the whole idea. We want this message to reach as many people as possible, because we are all about informing, educating, and inspiring. And also we aim to grow a global decentralized community that is purpose driven and that understands how we're taking advantage of the challenges that we identify in this industry and using them as opportunities, and then aligning them through our platform to address them as opportunities, right? With that said, community, I want to wish every single one of us a wonderful rest of their week, and be safe, be blessed. Until we meet again, community, let's keep in touch and see you again when we have our next community event. With that said, bye-bye, everyone. Stay hungry, stay focused. We have so much to look forward to. We are not only in the right place at the right time, but we have the right community and we have the right platform, and things are literally lining up for us right in front of our faces. And I just want to uplift us all to keep going and keep moving forward, keep being engaged. Consistency, engagement is a major step forward. And we hit a major milestone, by the way, on Monday. We hit 100 simultaneously tuned in on Twitter Space. This is a major stone for a community that is literally started with their bootstraps, right? Like doing it organically, no paid influences or anything like that, but it's all in-house growth. This is beautiful. So let's keep the momentum going. Let's keep growing, community. Let's keep participating, engaging, and reach as many people as possible. With that said, bye-bye, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Until we meet again. See you soon.